Hi guys, I'm Hui Ji and today I'm going to teach you guys mathematics from 5 chapter 4, which is consumer mathematics of text. So in this chapter we will learn about the types of tax and also the calculation of income tax, monthly tax deduction, joint or separate tax assessment, root tax, the property assessment tax, and also the sales and service tax. So first, the type of tax. So we got 5 types of tax here. So the first is income tax, and the next is property assessment tax, sales and service tax, quick rent, and road tax. So in this chapter, we will learn all of the calculation of this type of tax. So let's start. So first is the income tax. So this is the step to calculate the income tax. So the first step is calculate the chargeable income. So the formula is the total annual income minus tax exception and minus tax relief. And the next is calculate the income tax. And lastly, we need to minus the tax rebate. And if the chargeable income is less than or equal to 35,000, then we will have a tax rebate of 400 ringgit. So after this, we will get our income tax payable. So let's do some questions. So first, we need to find the chargeable income. So let's read the question. So one Aisha had a total annual income of 61593 ringgit in 2020. The total tax relief claimed by her was 14320. She paid zakat amounting to 700 that year. Calculate the income tax payable by Wan Aisha. So let's start to calculate the chargeable income. So the chargeable income is used the annual income to minus the tax relief, which is the answer is 47273. And next step is we need to calculate the income tax, which we need to use the table. Is the individual income tax rate, this table, to refer the rate and the tax. So since our chargeable income is 47273, so we need to refer to 35,000 to 50,000 here. So the income tax is 600, which is the base here, for the first 35,000, and plus with the chargeable income tax minus to the first 35,000 and times with the rate, which is 8%. So the answer should be 1581.84. So this is for the income tax. The last step we need to do is minus the tax rebate, which is the zakat amounting to 700. So for the income tax payable, we need to use the income tax to minus the tax rebate, which is this 700, like this. So the answer should be 881.84. So next will be the monthly tax deduction, which is PCB. So the tax payable is more than PCB, then the insufficient tax payment is tax minus with PCB. And this tax payment must be made to IRB. And if the tax payable less than PCB, then the PCB minus to tax is the excess deduction, which is the excess deduction of the PCB will be refunded by IRB to the taxpayer's bank account, which is the taxpayer give more than the PCB. So the tax will be refunded. So next, let's do some example question for PCB. Once use chargeable income is 75311. Each month, 300 is deducted from her salary for monthly tax deduction, which is PCB. However, the total PCB is insufficient for her income tax payment. So, how much is the income tax balance payable to IRB? So, the chargeable income is 75311 and the PCB monthly is 300. So, we need to find the income tax payable first. Since the chargeable income is 75311, so we need to refer here from the table. So the tax payable is 4,600, which is on the first 70,000, and plus with the chargeable income tax minus with the first 70,000 and times with the 21%, which is the rate here. So the tax payable is this. And next we need to find the PCB. Since this is the monthly, so we need to times with 12 months, which is this is the yearly PCB. So the payable is 5,000 and the PCB is 3,000. So the tax payable is more than PCB, so there is insufficient tax payment here. So the insufficient tax payment is the tax payable minus with the PCB. So here is the tax payment. So next will be the joint and separate tax assessment. So for the joint tax assessment filled by marriage partner, their income is aggregate when filling tax assessment. And for the separate tax assessment, husband and wife each file their own tax assessment. So next, let's do some example question. So Mr. Subra and his wife each earn an annual salary of 61,000 and 56,000 in 2020. So the following are the expenses claimed by Mr. Subra and his wife for that year. So here is the table, and we need to calculate the total income tax for Mr. Subra and his wife using separate tax assessment. So first, we do the separate tax assessment of Mr. Supra first. So we need to calculate the chargeable tax first. So we use the annual salary minus the expenses that Mr. Supra used. And so a total should be this. And since it is 36400, so we use this, which is the 35,000 to 50,000 rate and the tax, so that we can count the income tax payable, which is 600 plus with the chargeable tax minus with the first 35,000, then we times with the 8%, which is the rate. So the answer should be 712. So next, let's first count for Mr. Supra's wife. So the chargeable tax, we use the annual salary and we minus all the assessment, and this is the answer for the chargeable tax. So we refer to the table, we use on the first 20,000, the rate and the tax. So the income tax payable is 150 plus with the chargeable tax minus with the first 20,000, and we times with the rate, which is 3%, and we minus to the 400, which is the tax rebate, because the chargeable tax is less than 35,000. So we got the tax rebate for Mr. Supra's wife. So the answer should be 68. So next is the joint tax assessment. So for the separate tax assessment just now, the total income tax from the Mr. Supra and his wife is 780. And for the joint tax assessment, here is the table that I already combined the expenses of them. So we need to follow the limit here. So next will be the total income, which we combine the annual salary from Mr. Subra and his wife. So the chargeable tax is we use the total income minus all of the expenses. So here is the chargeable tax. And since it is 87500, so we use the 70,000 to 100,000 rate and the tax. Then we can calculate the tax payable. So the income tax payable is 4,060, which is this, the base, plus with the income tax, the chargeable tax minus with the first 70,000 and times with the rate, which is 21%. So the answer should be 8,275. Sorry, 75. So we can see the difference here, the separate tax assessment and also the joint tax assessment. So next is root tax. We straight away to the question since it's very simple. So let's see the question. Firdaus has a motorcycle and a car with the engine capacity as shown in the diagram, which is 220 and 1,860. Based on the table below, calculate the road tax for both types of vehicles. So based on the table, we need to find the 220 and the 1,860. So it's here and here. So for the motorcycle, the road tax for the motorcycle is 50 ringgit, which is here. So we don't need some calculation because the rate is only here. So next we count for the road tax for car. So this is the base rate and this is the progressive rate, which is the 1,860 is already exceeding the 1,800. So we use the capacity and minus with the first 1,800 and we times with the rate, which is 50 cents, and we combine it, and this is the road tax for the car. So it is very easy. So next, let us go to property assessment tax. So this is the formula, which is property assessment tax rate times with the annual value. So here is the example question. So Madam Kim owns a service apartment in Shah Alam. The property assessment tax is 5%. It is estimated that the house rental is at 1,500 per month. Calculate the property assessment tax payable by Madam Kim each year. So the annual value is 1,500 times with 12, which because 1,500 is per month, so we need to get the annual value, so we times with 12 months. So here is the answer. And the property assessment, we use 5% times with the annual value. So the property assessment tax is 900. So it's very easy. And next we go to quick rent. So the formula of quick rent is quick rent per unit area and times with the total land area. So here is the example question. Jack Abdullah owns 300 residential land in Kedah. It is given that the quick rent rate is 15 cents per square meter. Calculate the quick rate payable by Jack Abdullah each year. So Jack Abdullah owns 300 meters square and the rate is 0.115 per square meter. So it's very easy. So we use the rate and times with the quick the land unit area. So we use 0.15 times with 300. So the quick rent is 45. It's very easy. So the last one is the sales and service tax. So the question is, Yusun had dinner at a restaurant. He had a pan of fried rice, two pieces of fried chicken, and a cup of coffee. The table below shows the price of the food and drinks. So here's the table and the price. So it is given that the restaurant charged 6% of service tax. So calculate Yisung bills. So first, you need to check the item. So we got one fried rice, two fried chicken, and one coffee. So 6 plus with 5 times 2, which is the two fried chicken, and plus with 4, which is one coffee, and all of it times with 6%. So which is 1.2. This is the service tax. And the question told us to calculate the Yisung bill. So the bill is all of the total plus with 1.2. So the Yisung bills will be 21 ringgit and 20 cents. So last we do some exercise for the PCB. So Bon Aida annual income was at 4400 in 2020. She claimed tax relief for individual for 9,000, life insurance and EPF for 7,000, lifestyle for 1,200, and medical insurance for 2,800, medical treatment expenses for her parents for 2,100, and an unmarried child aged under 18 years old for 2,000. Puan Aida paid zakat for 600 for that year. So question A, calculate the chargeable income for Puan Aida. So the chargeable income, which we need to use annual income minus all of the expenses. So we minus all of the expenses that I highlight here. So the answer should be 60300. So let's move to B. B is calculate the income tax payable by Puan Aida. So the chargeable income, I write it here. So we need to check the table. So refer to the table. Our chargeable income is 60300. So we need to check the 50,000 to 70,000 rate and tax. So the base should be 1,080, 1,800 plus with the chargeable income minus with the first 50,000 and times with the rate, which is 14% minus with the zakat, which is the tax rebate. So the answer should be 2642. So here is the income tax payable by Puan Aida. So C, if the PCB of 450 is deducted monthly from her salary, should Puan Aida make additional income tax payment? So the income tax payment I already here. So the PCB, since the 450 is monthly, so we times with 12 months, which is a year, which the answer should be 1,400, and the tax payable is 2,642. So the tax payable is smaller than PCB. So Puan Aida don't have any additional income tax payment to pay because her PCB is more than the income tax. So she already paid more than she need to pay. So she don't have any additional income tax payment. So that's all for this chapter. Thank you.